There is a moment most people have had. You open your bank account at the end of the month, look at the number, and genuinely cannot explain where it all went. You weren't reckless, you didn't go on a shopping spree, you didn't make any single purchase that felt out of control, and yet somehow, between the first of the month and the last, hundreds of dollars evaporated in ways you can't fully account for. You tell yourself you need more discipline. You tell yourself you need to try harder, pay closer attention, want it more. And then the next month happens exactly the same way. Here's what I want you to hear. The problem is not your discipline. The problem is that you are trying to use willpower to fight a system that was specifically engineered to defeat it. And willpower, no matter how strong, was never designed to win that fight. Today, I want to talk about the psychology of spending, not the mechanics of budgeting, not the list of things to cut, the actual psychological architecture behind why money leaves your account before you've made a conscious decision to spend it. Because once you understand what's happening at that level, the solutions become obvious in a way that no budget spreadsheet ever makes them. Let me start with a number that surprised me the first time I heard it. The average person makes approximately 35,000 decisions per day. Most of them are unconscious. Your brain runs on autopilot for the vast majority of your waking hours, making micro-decisions based on habit, environment, and emotional state, rather than conscious deliberation. This is not a flaw, it is an extraordinarily efficient feature. Your brain conserves its limited conscious processing power for situation and habit. The problem is that every major consumer company, every app, every retail environment, every e-commerce platform is designed to intercept that autopilot. They have spent billions of dollars studying exactly how your unconscious decision-making works, and they have built systems specifically designed to trigger purchases before your conscious brain has a chance to evaluate whether the purchase makes sense. One-click buying removes the friction of entering payment information, which is the moment most impulse purchases get reconsidered. Push notifications arrive at psychologically optimized times, when engagement is highest. Infinite scroll removes the natural stopping points that would otherwise signal it's time to close the app. Flash sales create artificial urgency that bypasses rational evaluation. Free shipping thresholds are set just above what you were planning to spend, reliably pushing average order values higher. Subscription auto-renewals rely on inertia to perpetuate spending you've long since forgotten you authorized. None of this is accidental. All of it is deliberate. The consumer economy is not a neutral environment in which you make free choices. It is a carefully engineered landscape designed to extract spending from you with the minimum possible resistance. Understanding this doesn't make you immune to it, but it fundamentally changes how you think about your own behavior. The question stops being, why can't I control myself, and starts being, how do I build a countersystem that's stronger than theirs? That is the right question, and the answer starts with understanding 3 psychological mechanisms that drive almost all unplanned spending. The first is what behavioral economists call present bias. Your brain is hardwired to value things available right now far more than identical things available in the future. This was adaptive for most of human history. When food was scarce and uncertain, taking the berry in front of you was smarter than waiting for the possibility of a larger meal tomorrow. The instinct served our ancestors extremely well. It serves the modern consumer economy even better. Every marketing message is designed to activate present bias. Limited time offer. Act now. Today only. Don't miss out. The language of urgency is everywhere because urgency collapses the distance between now and later, making the future cost of a purchase feel abstract and the present benefit feel immediate and real. The person buying something on a credit card is experiencing present bias in its purest form. The item is real and available right now. The payment is future, distant, split into small increments that feel manageable when you're standing at the checkout. By the time the bill arrives, the dopamine from the purchase has faded completely. What remains is the debt and the faint memory of something that seemed important at the time. The second mechanism is what psychologists call hedonic adaptation. Humans are remarkably bad at predicting how long a new purchase will make them happy. We expect the satisfaction to last. It almost never does. Research consistently shows that the emotional boost from a purchase, whether it's a new phone, a new car, new clothes, or new furniture, fades within weeks to months, after which the item becomes part of the background of ordinary life. The new car smell disappears. The excitement of the phone wears off. The outfit that felt transformative on the day you bought it becomes just another thing in the closet.
What doesn't fade is the payment. The subscription renews. The credit card balance accumulates interest. The monthly payment shows up reliably long after the emotional reward it was meant to purchase has completely evaporated. This is why more stuff never produces the lasting satisfaction we expect it to. The brain resets, the baseline shifts, and the next purchase is required to produce the next hit of satisfaction, which will also fade, which will require another purchase. The hedonic treadmill runs continuously, and the spending it generates never actually gets you anywhere. The third mechanism is social comparison. Humans are intensely, inescapably social creatures. Our sense of where we stand, financially, socially, professionally, is almost entirely relative. We don't evaluate our circumstances in absolute terms. We evaluate them against the people around us, the people we see on social media, the lifestyle standards implied by the content we consume. This is not vanity. It is a deep evolutionary drive that historically helped humans calibrate their standing within their community and respond accordingly. In a modern context, that drive has been weaponized. Social media exposes you to a continuous feed of curated consumption: vacations, renovations, restaurants, outfits, cars, filtered to show the best version of everyone else's life while you're experiencing the unfiltered reality of your own. The comparison is systematically unfair, and it generates spending. A 2025 Goldman Sachs report cited social comparison, keeping up with the peer group, as one of the primary drivers of paycheck-to-paycheck living among high earners. Six-figure earners feeling financial pressure not because their income is insufficient, but because the standard of consumption they're trying to match keeps climbing alongside the income. The more you earn, the more expensive the comparison set becomes. Understanding these three mechanisms, present bias, hedonic adaptation, and social comparison, doesn't make you immune to them. They're not rational, they're neurological. You cannot willpower your way out of a brain that was built to respond to them. What you can do is build structures that intercept them before they result in spending you'll regret. Let me walk you through the counter system, the specific changes that work with your psychology instead of against it. The first and most powerful intervention is adding friction to spending. Everything about the modern consumer environment is designed to reduce friction, to make purchasing faster, easier, and more automatic. Your counter strategy is to deliberately add it back. Remove your credit card information from every online retailer. If buying something requires entering the card number manually, a significant percentage of impulse purchases evaporate during those 15 seconds. Delete the shopping apps from your phone, not from your account, from your phone. The app is a portal designed to pull you in during moments of boredom or stress. Close the portal. Unsubscribe from every promotional email. Each one is an engineered trigger designed to create desire for something you weren't thinking about 30 seconds ago. The friction you add doesn't need to be enormous: a 10-second pause, a single extra step. Research on impulse purchasing shows that even a small delay dramatically reduces conversion. The consumer companies know this, which is why they've spent decades eliminating every possible pause from the path to purchase. You are rebuilding those pauses on purpose. The second intervention is the 72-hour rule for any non-essential purchase above a threshold you set. I use $50, but the number can be whatever feels right for your spending patterns. When you want to buy something,
You put it on a list and wait 72 hours. Not to think about it rationally, not to research alternatives, just to wait. The desire that felt urgent on Tuesday afternoon often feels completely optional by Friday morning. The purchases that survive 72 hours are purchases you genuinely wanted. The ones that don't were activated by present bias, a notification or a sale, external triggers that no longer feel compelling once the moment has passed. Most people who try this rule are shocked by how few purchases make it to the end of the waiting period. The urgency that felt real at the point of decision was manufactured. The waiting period makes that visible. The third intervention is redesigning your environment. This is the most underrated strategy in personal finance, and the one behavioral economists consistently identify as having the largest impact on spending behavior. Your environment shapes your decisions far more than your intentions do. If the shopping apps are on your home screen, you will open them. If the expensive grocery store is on your route home, you will shop there. If your credit cards are in your wallet and your investment account requires a separate login, you will spend more and invest less. Rearranging your environment to make the behaviors you want easier and the behaviors you don't want harder changes outcomes without requiring any ongoing willpower. Move the investment account app to your home screen and the shopping apps to a folder 3 screens deep. Set the investment contribution to happen automatically and the credit card to require a secondary confirmation for purchases above your threshold. Shop for groceries with a list and a specific budget loaded on your phone before you walk in. These are not dramatic changes, they are architectural ones, and architecture beats intention every time. The fourth intervention is identifying your specific emotional spending triggers. Most overspending is not random. It follows patterns that are personal and consistent. Some people spend when they're stressed, some when they're bored, some after a difficult interaction with a specific person, some during a particular time of day, some in response to a certain type of content on social media. The trigger is predictable. The spending is the response. Keeping a simple log for 2 to 3 weeks, noting your emotional state each time you make an unplanned purchase, reveals your pattern with remarkable clarity. Once you know the trigger, you can address it directly. If you spend when you're stressed, you can build a list of alternative stress responses that don't cost money, and keep it somewhere visible for when the trigger fires. If you spend after scrolling social media, you can set an app time limit that interrupts the scroll before the spending impulse builds. The trigger doesn't disappear, but you are no longer on autopilot when it arrives. The fifth intervention is reframing what your money actually represents. Most people think about money in terms of purchasing power. That dollar amount in your account represents the things you could buy with it. This framing makes spending feel like a neutral exchange. You give up dollars, you receive goods or experiences, the transaction is complete. A more useful framing is to think of money as stored time. Every dollar in your account represents some portion of your working hours. Every unnecessary purchase is trading your time, hours you already spent, hours you cannot get back, for something that will stop feeling valuable in weeks. When you spend $200 on something you didn't plan to buy and won't remember in a year, you are not trading $200. You are trading however many hours of your working life it took to earn that after taxes. Making that exchange visible changes its emotional weight considerably. The richer framing still is to think of money as optionality. Every dollar that doesn't get spent is a dollar that preserves your ability to make choices. Choices about your time, choices about your career, choices about where you live, who you spend time with, how you respond to circumstances that aren't in your control. Financial security is not primarily about having nice things. It is about having options when the unexpected happens, which it always does. Buying something you don't need is not just a financial transaction,
It is a small reduction in your future freedom, traded for a temporary emotional hit that will fade long before the cost disappears. Here is what all of this comes down to. You are not bad with money. You are human, operating in an environment that was specifically engineered to separate you from your money as efficiently as possible. The discipline model, try harder, want it more, just be better, fails because it pits your finite willpower against an infinite, well-funded system designed to defeat it. That is not a fair fight, and losing it is not a character flaw. The structural model works because it changes the environment rather than trying to change the person. It adds friction to spending. It removes triggers. It makes the behaviors you want automatic, and the behaviors you don't want effortful. It works with your psychology rather than demanding you transcend it. The woman who checks her account with calm at the end of every month didn't get there by becoming more disciplined than everyone else. She got there by making the right behaviors easier and the wrong behaviors harder, and then letting the system do the work she was never meant to do alone. Build the counter system, add the friction, wait the 72 hours, redesign your environment, find your triggers, reframe what money actually means. These are not inspirational suggestions, they are structural interventions with documented behavioral impact, and any one of them, implemented consistently, will change your spending patterns in ways that no budget spreadsheet ever has. If you want to go deeper on the structural side, specifically how to automate your finances so that the system handles saving and investing before spending ever has a chance, the next video walks through that setup from scratch. That is where the counter system gets fully built. Watch that one next.